Today, I'm trying Agricole Rum. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. When it comes to Agricole Rum, it's something I never look forward to trying. For years, I absolutely hated Agricole. It's really just not my vibe. I mean, the smell, the taste, it just put me off for years. But boys and girls, my palate has changed because 2018 Steve the Barman wouldn't have even really touched proper Jamaican funky rums. But now, in 2022, I can't get enough of them. So this video today is going to be the first time I've revisited Agricole properly since I started this journey. Now, I did make a tea punch a few months ago, but as to tasting Agricole's neat is something I've not done for a long time. Now, before we go any further, I want you guys to slide into the comments downstairs underneath the video and get the emojis out to play. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down how you feel about Agricole, and if you do love Agricole, then what's your go-to brand? Type that in the comments below, because I'm quite interested in all the different Agricoles. So say it's something I've never got into. But then also, while you're down there, if you love me and love the video, make sure you hit the like button as well, because that really helps me to grow the channel and reach more of the Rum family. Right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. What the hell is Agricole Rum? Now, openly and honestly, my Agricole knowledge is limited, to say the least. As I say, it's not a rabbit hole I've gone down. But to dumb it right down, because I do know the bare basics, to dumb it right down is essentially a rum distilled directly from sugar cane juice. So not molasses like a lot of rums, molasses being refined sugar essentially. So the sugar cane refined into sugar, which is then you get the byproduct, molasses. This little bad boy is distilled directly from the juice from sugarcane. And also to note, this is a French style of rum. Up on this journey so far, I've talked a lot about English styles of rum, a lot about Spanish styles of rum. We haven't really touched on the French styles of rum. And they are in the minority in the Caribbean, but it's essentially islands like Martinique, like Haiti, like Guadeloupe. They are your big sort of rum agricoles. But of course, you get them on some of those African islands as well that are French owned, or French colonies, shall we say. So Agricole is a big thing. It's just not quite as big as molasses based rum. Now, distilling directly from sugarcane juice gives you a very different type of rum, very different taste. You're going to get citrusy notes off this. You're going to get grassy notes off this. You're going to get, if you're used to kind of Jamaican funk, you're going to get slightly those sort of funk notes to it. And you may also get a touch of kind of like green apple as well. Now, putting those together, it's a style of rum that I know I'm generalising here, but is not a favourite with the masses. But that being said, it is a very distinctive style of rum. And like for like, to dumb this right down, Brazilian cachaça is virtually... sorry, I'm going to get the haters here. As I said, my knowledge is pretty minimal, but Brazilian cachaça is a similar thing. Cachaça is distilled directly from sugarcane juice. But there's obviously going to be some major difference. You take the climate into account, you take the terroir into account, you take all those other things into account, the distilling, the craft and all that. There is going to be a massive difference between cachaça and Agricole Rum. It's just the process is very, very similar. Now, to talk about Clement Rhum for a quick minute here. It comes from Martinique, and Martinique is probably one of the biggest kind of agricole producing islands in the Caribbean. And that is important because Martinique does have the AOC. Now, excuse my French, I've never been able to say this ever since I did the Wines and Spirits course way back when I was an 18-year-old. AOC, I'll describe it in a second, but Appellation Original Contrôle, excuse my French, but the AOC. Now, how to dumb that right down. But the best way to explain that, you know, like cognac can only be made in cognac, and it has its rules and regulations. You can't go making cognac in Paris because then it's not a cognac. You can't go making cognac in France, in London, for example, it's not a cognac. The same, you can't be making champagne in England or champagne in the south of France. Champagne has to come from Champagne. It's got all those rules and regulations around brandy, Armagnac, champagne. It's what France does exceptionally well. It has those controls, those laws to say how something can be made and the processes involved. And Martinique is exactly the same. It has got the AOC. Now, someone with way more in-depth knowledge can explain that better than what I can, but that is very important to note. Now, the whole point behind this video, Clement have sent through and sent quite a lot of us influencers, us socialites, through this awesome tea punch kit. So the whole reason I was going to feature Agricoles, I was going to do it many months time, to be honest, but I thought, why not? Because the day this video comes out is actually during Clement Tea Punch Week. So I thought it would be a great chance to get involved in the tea punch and to get involved in some Agricole Rums. Now, it's important to note, this is not a paid promotion in any sense of the world. I might hate it, to be honest, but I just want to give a shout out to Clement and thank them for this. Because what is in this box is what they've sent through. And I missed the rum for a start off. I'll explain. They've sent me through this lovely little chopping board with a proper knife. They sent me through some two proper class A grade 1 sort of limes in there. They sent me through 5 of these sugar sachets here, proper Clement cane sugar sachets. I've got 5 and I've opened some of them because I've made some cane syrup down there. And then they sent me this bottle of Clement Rhum. Now, for those of you that watch my Instagram stories, you will have noticed something a little bit funny, because at first thought I was kind of like, oh, I've already got a bottle. It's all right, you know, it's kind of great, another bottle just to sit around. And then I noticed something awesome, because the big difference between these two, let's give you a close up. Let's give you a couple of minutes just to kind of see. There's a big, huge difference between these two. And that fits very nicely into a style of videos I've been doing recently, because my original bottle here is the 40% 80 proof stuff. This beast is the 50% 100 proof Agricole. So that video I did last week or the week before about ABVs and the different liquids and how the ABV affects rums, this is going to come out to play big time in this video. So in a minute, I'm going to be making a tea punch with both of these just to kind of compare them. But for now, let's dive into a little tasting, and I might even crack this out as well. So tasting these little bad boys side by side, or tasting, I should say, nosing to start off with. I've started using this now. It's brilliant. The Rhum X app. To kind of guide me through tasting this. I'll put a link in the description below of how you can find that. Pop it up on screen now of what it looks like. You can download it in Europe. It's coming to the US and Canada later this year, apparently 2020. But side by side, there is a huge gulf, even on the nose, let alone the tasting. But I cannot deny on both of these, it's that nose, it's that aroma that is going to put a lot of people off. It's what put me off for years. I just struggle to get past it. You get that citrusy note, you get the kind of the pepper note that's in there, but it's that grassy, the best way I can describe it is that kind of funk. And you know, it will put a lot of you off if you're new to rum. I'll be honest to that. If you are new to rum, it is not the best aroma in the world. But once you get past the aromas, the taste, I really, really love the taste of these. And as you'd expect, the difference between the 40 and the 50, everything is just amped up in the 50. And the 50 is way more delicious than the 40. And just to kind of give you a rough idea of how they compare, I'll run you through the scores that I've given this on the Rhum X app. So talking about these on the nose, on the aroma, I've given fruit 2 out of 5, floral 2 out of 5, spices 2 out of 5, woody 1 out of 5. It's unaged, you're not going to get too much wood notes off that, let's be honest. Roasted, the same, 1 out of 5. But rounded, because it is kind of all those flavours do come together, I've given it a 2 out of 5 on there, because you can't really give a rounded score of 5 if you're only giving sweetness and floral 2. So I've given those 2s and 1s. But when we come to this one, the 50% ABV, fruit is just more in your face. I've given it a 3 out of 5. Floral, again, is more in your face. I've given it a 3 out of 5. But then spices, the woody, and they come in the same. And I have to say the Agricole aroma on that is way more punchy than the Agricole aroma on that. But the reason why I love the 50% even more than that is because when it comes around to taste, and I'll run you through the scores of this, so on the sweetness level, I've given this a 2 out of 5. Fruit, I've given this a 2 out of 5. Floral, 2. Spices, 2. Woody, 1. Roasted, pretty much nothing on there, to be fair. And then round, I've given 2. But on the 50% ABV, the sweetness, bearing in mind there's no sugar added, but the sweetness of this goes up to a 3 out of 5. It's just that rounded sweetness in your mouth, which is absolutely delicious. Fruit is amped up as well, 3 out of 5. Floral is amped up, 3 out of 5. Spices, it's got even more of a peppery burn on there, which is lovely, is a 3 out of 5. The woody notes, I do get slightly, obviously it's unaged to a certain extent in there, it's rested, it's not aged in oak barrels, you're not going to get too much. But because of the alcohol in there, you do get slightly more woody vibes off it. But nothing remotely like the Dawleys or anything like that. Don't think I'm talking about that in that sense. And then kind of roasted notes, not too much. And rounded, again, it is delicious. But it just comes back to that aroma. Fair enough. Some of you might be absolutely loving the aromas on this, but a lot of you, it's just going to put you off. Now, by complete contrast, I had this, I bought this the same time as I bought that. At the start of this journey now, so we're 8 months ago. I haven't really played about with it too much. I don't really know too much about it. It's just a select barrel. I'm assuming it's aged slightly, but again, I don't really know anything about it at all. It's a completely different vibe to these two, completely different. You still get the subtle sort of agricole, but nothing compared to this. There's nothing in this that's really going to put you off, really, kind of like, you might sort of think Jamaican kind of funk in there, but not to that extent of these. But then tasted, it's got this element of sweetness to it. The agricole, there's no peppery burn on there. All right, this is what, 40% ABV. There's no peppery burn, there's no rummy burn. You get subtle hit sweetness of vanilla coming through on there. It's a really delicious rum, but perhaps not what I want from an agricole. And now that I've tasted that, I'd be really interested to see how that works in like cocktails and things like that. Maybe a daiquiri, maybe a Mai Tai, maybe the tea punch, but it is completely different. But look, being brutally honest, if I want an agricole, if I want those agricole vibes for drinking neat or for cocktails, this is where your money's at. This is pretty damn tasty. Really surprises me how easy, is that the right way to say? How much easier it is to drink neat than the 40. That extra 10% just gives it a better, well-rounded finish. This is delicious. So let's now crack out a couple of tea punches, which is kind of the signature drink for Agricole Rums for Martinique. And it's really, really simple. Now I did clarify this with Clement, because when I sort of was Googled, to be fair, they've put the recipe in the back of the box, which I saw just before I was opening up, and they talk you through the recipe, which is really, really easy. But I have seen other bartenders and other channels kind of making it like caipirinha style, and I was pretty convinced I knew how to make it. And I've never kind of known it as a caipirinha style, like loaded with crushed ice. They say they're not too bothered about how you drink it, but try it traditionally first. Now, there is some variances between the box, what they've written down there, and Clement's website as well. So I'm going to kind of go in betweeny. So the first thing we'd go for a double bubble, 60 ml of both of these rums. There we go. Just thought I'd edit and do a little bit of editing in there. So I've got 60 ml double bubble of those rums. Now, when it comes to the sugar, bearing in mind, as I say, I did get 5 of these sachets come through. Clement's website says 30 ml. If I'm doing 60 ml, it says 30 ml of cane sugar syrup. Or the box says some sugar or a tablespoon of cane sugar syrup. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to kind of just start this off. Bearing in mind, a tablespoon would be, if a bar spoon is like 5 ml, a tablespoon could be about 15 ml. So I'm hopefully got, I'm hoping this, I've done this right. I've got 15 ml of sugar syrup, hopefully, in each of these. Yeah, we're bang on, maybe 13, 14 ml in here, but there we go. We're bang on the money there. And then the important thing for this is the lime. Now, it's not a whole lime, it's what they just call a cheek of a lime. So I'm just going to roll it, and basically all you need, I'm hoping this is razor sharp, yeah, look at that, is you need like a little cheek of the lime, hopefully we'll get that on there, with a little bit of the flesh, but predominantly just skin. Come on, knife, there we go, right. So, and that's that, and we just kind of just squeeze that in and drop that in. So not too much lime at all, just kind of like a bit of the a bit of the flesh in there, but predominantly just kind of the peel, and just put that in. There we go. And that is the tea punch. Now, I'm going to try, I do like drinks chilled down. So I am going to add a big chunky ice cube. It's a proper solid ice cube, but traditionally a tea punch would be served without ice. So let's get on and see how these taste. Wow. I can see why that's their kind of national drink. That is flipping gorgeous. I'll be honest, I think personally I could have gone down to 10 ml of sugar syrup. But I can't describe it. It's just kind of like the sugar brings out different flavours in the rums. Look, I'm not going to kid you, you've still got that sort of agricole nose on there. But as soon as you get into a taste, you just lose it completely. They are really delicious rums. And picking between the two, I'm not sure I can. I mean, I'll be honest, the 40%er makes an absolutely delicious tea punch. But I think the 50%er just kind of pips it to me. Obviously, it's a stronger drink. And because I've probably added a touch too much sugar for me personally, the extra alcohol does carry that through. So for me, I could, at those levels, the kind of 15 ml of sugar syrup, I can drink much more and much easier. That's not the right thing to say, but I could drink that one much easier. There we go. I'm terrible at getting my words back to front enough. But I get why they don't want that diluted down. As I say, I do personally love it chilled. And to get that chilled, I do use a big solid ice cube in there. But sort of at room temperature, that is quite delicious. But I just like that extra bit of kind of the chilled vibes going on. So for all you people getting into kind of rums and stuff like that, that we've kind of got you into daiquiris, think of this as kind of the daiquiri without that much lime to it. So essentially, you've got a sweetened rum with that little element of sort of citrus, the zesty oils coming through there. These are both delicious. I'm converted. And just for my own curiosity, I've just quickly whipped up a tea punch with that. Look, it's delicious. It really is delicious. But as I've gone down my rum journey a little bit, and as I do kind of like the flavours, the kind of the agricole notes coming off this now, this for me, and without being brutally harsh, this for me could be any rum in there. It just really could. I could probably swap that out for like an El Dorado or a Dawley's, or insert a Jamaican rum or anything like that. I could probably swap that out and get a similar kind of vibes. But to come back, I mean, it's delicious. It is delicious. But coming back to this sugar's bad for you, isn't it, really? But this could be my new drink. And in full disclosure, I've just added about another 20 ml. 22.5 ml of that, of the 50 to that, because I said it was a little bit too sweet. That is all shades of magical now. I would generally steer you in the direction of about 5 to 10 ml if you're doing 60 ml, 5 to 10 ml of sugar syrup if you're doing sort of 60 ml of that. That is bang on the money. Now, as far as riffs and flips on this going, I'm just thinking of some of the William Fox syrups because I was playing about with them yesterday actually. Do you know what? I think like the guava syrup maybe in there, so swapping that out instead of your cane sugar syrup that we've just used. A guava syrup, something like that. I think fruit's kind of native to those Caribbean, those French style of islands. So guavas, passion fruits, mangoes, that kind of vibe. I think that would be pineapple. I think they would be great riffs. Just swapping that sort of 5 to 10 ml of sugar syrup out in there. Think a guava. I really want to try a guava tea punch now. So if you're a tea punch fan, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about this. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button and then jump into that video right there because you're going to love that one as well.